Hello and welcome to After the Flag, live from Jerez, where we've just seen round 4 of the MotoGP World Championship. Who would have thought it? Ducati have waited 15 years for a race win here in Jerez, and they get a 1-2, but in the hands of Jack Miller. Amazing news for all fans and amazing news for neutrals, because everyone loves Jack. Simon, I know how much you're, how happy you are, of course. As a Kiwi, I know he's got Kiwi roots, but just in general as a guy, just tell me how you're feeling about it, because I'm sure there were some emotional moments down in Parc Ferme.
You know, I think it was about a week ago, I messaged him and said, because I felt bad for everything he's gone through, and I know he's getting a bit of flack from fans, and and I messaged him and said, you're one of the few riders that everybody universally loves, Jack, something along those lines. And then, because I felt sorry for him going through that, and to see him bounce back like that today was absolutely fantastic. What a ride,
That's the thing, isn't it? I mean, he got to the front. We suspected he'd probably get to turn 1 out in front. But even when Fabio Quartararo here got past him and got into his rhythm, to be fair to Jack, it's not like Fabio disappeared.
He pulled a gap on Jack, like you can see on the screen now, and then Jack matched his times.
Yeah.
Like, it was regularly only 1/10 behind or the same, and that's what I was impressed with. He didn't drop off, didn't burn his tyres up, and then it was Fabio that started coming backwards, the big surprise.
Yeah, we understand now that it was arm pump that caused the problem. That's not the first time that's happened to Fabio Quartararo, but many riders have been there, Simon. You've got a feel for Fabio.
Oh, big style, because he had the machine. It doesn't often happen when all the stars align, you've got to grab it as a rider, that you have the machine to do the job, the rubber under you, everything comes together, and the ability, it was all there, and to be stopped by, normally it's your right arm. I just went and saw the team, and they confirmed that it was arm pump. Normally it's your right arm, because your right arm does brakes, 1, 2 or 3 fingers, depending on the rider, and also throttle, and under acceleration you're hanging on with only the end fingers so often that forearm blows up to the point where you've got no power to hang on, and it becomes dangerous, so you even lose feeling in those fingers, which...
Sadly for Fabio Quartararo, that's exactly what happened, because he was in excellent rhythm at this stage that you can see on TV right now. He did ultimately finish the race. He scored a couple of points, but not only does he lose today's race, but he relinquishes the World Championship lead, because Pecco Bagnaia finishing second behind his teammate here today now means that Pecco's on top. But all in all, you have to give some huge credit to Jack Miller, because on paper it didn't look like he had this sort of speed, and of course he missed, crucially, half of FP4
which
yesterday.
Is why we probably didn't know he was so quick,
exactly.
Because the FP4 session he wasn't out there with a technical problem. But both Jack and Pecco, that just shows what fantastic riders both those guys are, because they pretty much matched each other's times right through. I think they're pretty much the same speed. Jack just did a better first part of the race.
You have to give credit to Ducati as well as just the riders, because they've taken a massive step forward. This place has turned it around. So hard work.
Yeah, they've turned it around. I think that's why Gigi was so emotional when I interviewed him. He'd been crying, like literally, and with happiness, obviously. But to come to a track where Ducati have never really been strong, they didn't believe they can do it, and they get a 1-2. They were over the moon.
Exactly, and it's here that you can just see that battle was going on between Pecco and Franco Morbidelli. It really highlights the fact that there's no long straights here where Ducati can get that advantage. So it just shows how much progress they've made. We have to, of course, then talk about Franco Morbidelli. An outstanding job. He ends up top Yamaha, but the work he puts in, he's just a class rider, Simon, and great to see him back on the podium.
And lack of mistakes. Speaking to him in Parc Ferme, you heard what he said, and he really meant it when he said it was a hard race. He put more than everything he had in there, and to not make a mistake, it's so easy. I said to you before the race that I think there's going to be a few crashes. It's very easy here to make a mistake, and he kept the pressure on, didn't make a mistake, and great third, like super happy for him.
I'm not sure if you saw his post-race celebrations, Simon, but he was banging his chest. He was just absolutely, I mean, that's not like Franco Morbidelli, because he too, much like Jack, has been through the mill a bit over the last
I think that's why. Both those guys, it feels so sweet to them to bounce back.
There you go. There you go. They're the celebrations there. That's how much it means.
Yep. Bounce back from adversity, you know.
Fourth place here today was Taka Nakagami. Great ride, Simon. Second row on the grid. It looks like he reverted back to the 2020 chassis to give him some more feel. Of course, he used that to great effect last year. But still, you've got to do the business, and he did today.
He was on the 2019 last year, the whole bike. So this is the first time here on the 2020. But he'd chosen the 2021 chassis, let's call it that, like most of the other riders, except Alex Marquez at Qatar, but reverted back here to the same as Alex Marquez. So basically, the two LCR guys have the 20 base chassis. The thing is, for me, Honda have struggled all this event, and I think, this is only my feeling, that it's been a lack of front feel. And because they can't feel the limit, and that's why they keep crashing on the front, all of the riders, except Tucker. Tucker, I think all of the other Honda guys are going to go away and look at what Tucker did here, because it was pretty special, you know, because nobody else could do it.
Fifth place, just behind Taka Nakagami, an excellent result for the Japanese rider. His first top five, it equals his best result, by the way, as well. Just missing on a pony was Juan Mir. Now, we always thought that he had the pace to run at the front, and ultimately he did eventually have that pace, but it was always going to be hard work from 10th on the grid, and it looked like he was just mired in that group and was finding it very difficult to overtake, Simon.
Yeah, Steve, you said it exactly. I think Juan had the pace if he'd been straight there in the early laps, you know, meaning with that front four, but he wasn't. He had to fight through. You use a bit of tyre doing that and energy, and by the time he got there, at the last part of the race, he was equal to, if not the fastest man on track right at the end. And all I can say about Juan is, again, he gets some good points, puts it in, you know, finishes the race, no mistakes. So I still believe he's a real threat championship-wise.
And Alicia Spargaro was 6th. In fact, we're going to have to wait there because it looks like we're going to be crossing over shortly to an interview. Matt Burt is standing by with one of the guys from the top 3. Let's go and see who he's with now, because I've got absolutely no idea. Oh, there he is, the man himself, the race winner. Jackie Boy is with Matt. Over to you, mate.
Yeah, thanks a lot, Steve. Well, he's got the thriller on the back of his helmet, Thriller Miller, and it was certainly a thrilling Spanish Grand Prix here today for Jack. Huge congratulations, Jack. Your first dry race win in MotoGP, your first in the famous red as a factory Ducati rider. It must be so difficult to put into words your emotions right now after such an incredible afternoon.
It's out of this world, honestly. I've honestly, ever since that checkered flag, ever since, let's say, turn 12, I've been on this bloody roller coaster, and it just keeps going. It's like, one minute I'm crying and sobbing like a baby, next minute I'm just so angry and listen, I don't know. It's just too hard to even put into words what I feel today. I mean, it's just been a phenomenal weekend. We've been able to get stronger and stronger each session, and I credit that to just putting my head down, especially FP1, FP4, when we could just go and do laps on my own. And as we've seen, when I saw Fabio starting to drop off, I thought, all right, I have to go for it. And I looked and I seen how many laps were left. I thought, that's a long time out front by yourself. You sure you got this? I said, oh, well, we'll see. I was having this conversation in my helmet. And no, can't thank everybody at Ducati for having my back, from Gigi to Davide to Paolo to Claudio. You know, Claudio's been in my corner this whole time and believing in me, and all of them have. And I can't thank them enough. I can't thank, you know, my mum and dad enough, everybody. It's one of those things, it's just a flood of emotions right now, and all the people coming into mind. So.
Yeah, I think you've probably kicked off a few hangovers in Australia tomorrow morning. I don't think they'll care too much in Townsville right now, Jack, but Plan A was executed to perfection. You got the start, you got into the first corner, and then you were leading the race. I guess at some point you expected Fabio to make the move, and how difficult was it to hang in with him?
Well, as soon as I got going, you know, I hadn't been 100% comfortable with that medium front all weekend. I got going and it felt pretty mega, straight up. The ground temperature was higher than it had been all weekend, and I felt great straight up. I was just hitting my marks, and I thought, that's all right. No one's come past yet, and I could hear Fabio was there, and I thought, all right, he'll have a dig here shortly. And I know I'm not the fastest through 11 and 12, but it's just, I can't get that section right. It's just beyond me. But, yeah, he passed me into there, and I thought, all right, I'll try and tag on with him for a bit. And he was moving. But then he sort of plateaued out. He got out a bit of a gap, and I dropped my pace considerably to go with him. But he got out to about 0.8, 0.9, and then I seen he was sort of level there. And then I started getting closer and closer, and I thought, oh, he's starting to fade here. And then he really started dropping. I thought, you got to go now. And like I said, it was a long time out there on my own. I was just watching the pit board. Thanks to the boys in the pit lane for just keeping me, keeping the numbers, everything. I was just riding off that pretty much. And, I had a phenomenal package today. A massive congratulations to Pecco. It feels amazing to be 1-2 here, like that 15-year drought.
And what does it mean to you, Jack? I mean, obviously, as a factory Ducati rider, it is your first win in the dry in MotoGP as well, which is always a super special moment. But particularly after all the pressure that's been building a factory rider, all the criticism you've taken, justified or not, I mean, how much does this victory mean to you?
As I said, we put ourselves up in this pedestal, let's say, that we're there to be critiqued and whatnot. And as soon as things aren't going good, it turns like that. But it is what it is, it's part of the territory. Take it in your stride, and all I wanted to do was just focus on what I could control. And that was me and my training and the way I approached the races. And yeah, I'd have to say a massive thank you to Dr. Mia, because the Jerez has been notorious for me with arm pump, and it felt fantastic out there. It felt so good to ride 25 laps without having to limit my braking or try and stretch my fingers out. Just ride the way I know how to ride, and it felt so good.
And how much you feel now with this confidence, with this belief that you can really kick on from this point?
Yeah, I think, it always takes a bit of load off, and you can just focus on that sort of thing. But I definitely think the way we approached this weekend was the correct way to do it, and we need to try and keep that trend going.
Before you can join those celebrations, I'm just going to read this list to you. Loris Capirossi, Troy Bayliss, Casey Stoner, Andrea Iannone, Andrea Dovizioso, Jorge Lorenzo, Danilo Petrucci, and now I'm delighted to say Jack Miller, part of an exclusive winning club for Ducati in MotoGP. I think there's only one thing left for me to say, Jack. Viva Miller.
Viva.
Well done, mate.
Viva.
Back to you guys in the studio.
Viva Miller indeed. Thanks very much, Matt. Thanks to Jack as well. You could quite clearly see the roller coaster of emotions there, and they'll continue on for a day or two as yet, Simon.
Oh, big style. I hope he enjoys it. He's always had the speed, hasn't he? He's always had the speed, but I'm so happy that he pulled it off today, and the whole race was faultless from the start, the whole way through, and he won a dry race against the best at Jerez, fair and square.
He's needed this, hasn't he? That's the thing, Simon. He has needed this, and you do wonder, like Matt makes a good point there, and we said it in commentary as well, what does this now unleash?
Yeah, normally it does, you're right. The thing is, we're going to Le Mans, and I think championship-wise, you just got to be sensible. Le Mans throws crazy weather, which is good in Ducati, but then it can be... All I'm saying is you just got to take each day as it comes, like Joan Mir's, and do another one of those as soon as you can.
Let's cross back over to Matt. I believe he's with, I'm sure, a delighted Petronas Yamaha rider. Franco Morbidelli's first podium of 2021. Over to you.
Yeah, thanks, Steve. It is Franco Morbidelli's first podium of the 2021 season. It's been a difficult start, Franco, but I think we could see from your celebration the hitting of the chest, the hitting of the fuel tank. Full respect, Frankie, to be on the podium here today. I don't think there's anybody on planet Earth that could have ridden that motorcycle any harder than what you did today. You must feel like that was a real hard race, but just rewards to get a podium.
Yes. It was an incredible race. I pushed so hard throughout all race. Very few breaks of the race I was sure that I was going to stop. All the other ones were question mark. But finally I was able to gain and to give that extra with this kind of effort, and we finally were rewarded with this podium. Also, the team did a wonderful job. Ramon did his last magic modification this morning, and I was able to increase my feeling on the bike a little bit more, and I was able to ride it really strong and aggressively. So I'm really pleased with the result, and I'm really happy.
Where do you think those improvements were compared to this morning that really helped you be strong in the race? It's not just a bit of Facada magic, it's a bit of Morbidelli magic that comes into it as well.
Yeah. We increased the grip this morning, and it paid off. It really paid off. I felt that in the race there was less grip, but finally the modification we did allowed us to don't feel it so much. So I'm really pleased with the result.
You said on the podium afterwards, or with Simon in Parc Ferme, it's a third place. It's not the result that you want, but it's still, after the circumstances, we know you're not on the current model of the YZR M1, and how hard you've had to fight and ride today, it still felt like a victory, which I guess shows the magnitude of the result for you today.
Feels wonderful. It feels wonderful to be on the podium with what we have, and the championship got harder this year for sure, and we needed to step up our game in order to stay in similar position than last year. And I think we are doing that by trying to go outside from our comfort zone, try to risk a lot, but it paid off. It paid off in Portimao, and it's paying off today. So I'm really happy, and I'm enjoying a lot this moment.
Fantastic, huge congratulations, Franco. A really hard-fought podium. You really deserved it. We'll see you in France in a couple of weeks' time.
Thank you.
Back to you guys, Steve.
Yeah, thanks very much to Matt. Thanks to Franco Morbidelli as well. As he says there's not really an awful lot more he can do. It's worth remembering, Simon, as we mentioned already in commentary, that he's out there on the third oldest bike.
Which was not a disadvantage last year, I think, because the 2020 Yamaha had some problems, you know, where they fixed those, and they've obviously leapt ahead of what he's got, and now he is at a disadvantage. What I see with Franco, same as Jack, is they've been through a really rough period, these first races, and they've gone from what it's like is when you're having bad results is your shoulder starts stooping down, you know, and it's hard to hold yourself up. And this boost from both of those guys will do that. They'll walk around the paddock proud and can, you know, and you're right, a bit more confidence going into the next one.
Let's cross over back to Matt again. He's with the man that finished in second place. It's the third podium of 2021 for the championship leader now, Pecco Bagnaia. Over to you, Matt.
Yeah, thanks a lot, Steve. It's been quite a weekend here in Spain for the factory Ducati team. Their first win with Jack Miller since Loris Capirossi in 2006. Their first 1-2 with this man standing in front of me, Pecco Bagnaia, second since Brno 2018, I believe. And congratulations, Pecco. That second place puts you at the top of the MotoGP World Championship in 2021. It's been a very, very positive and strong Sunday for you.
Yeah, for sure. It's a great weekend for us, a great day for us. We did an incredible job this weekend. We were struggling at the start, but then we start to work on our bike, and I think we did quite well, because in the race I was feel very comfortable with my bike. I pushed it after 3-4 laps, because at the start I was preferring to don't push too much on the rear tire. And then when I see that my pace was good enough to recover position, I was pushing a little bit more every lap, and I was catching also Jack. But finally, when 2 laps to go, I was very close to lose the front at turn 7, so I preferred to slow a bit, and then finish second. I was not thinking that I was leading the championship, but finish second today. Finish with a double podium, first and second here. Track where we struggle a lot with our bike is incredible, and we have just to continue like this, because if in circuits like this we are strong like this, is a good thing for us. And now we will go in circuits that our bike is more suited, like Mugello, Barcelona, Le Mans too, Assen. So I'm happy, and I'm really looking forward to arriving there. At the moment, I'm just trying to enjoy this day with the team, this evening. And tomorrow we have the test, so we have to keep the good concentration to arriving prepared there.
Before that mistake late on, I mean, how confident were you that you perhaps had something for Jack in those last couple of laps? Did you really feel like you were going to catch him? I think the gap did come down to under 1 second. I'm sure he was getting a little bit nervous and you were getting quite excited as well.
I was really excited, but after the risk, I tried to just finish the race. The last 2 sectors of the race, I was very slow, and I was very close to lose also the second position from Frankie. But today was his day. He deserved this result. So after a difficult start of the season, for him finish first here is something better.
It's incredible the turnaround that you've had this year already, Pecco. Last season you scored just 47 points in the whole of 2020, and here you are after just 4 races, already 19 points clear. You're leading the World Championship as well. You know what it's like to lead a World Championship. You've done it before in Moto2, but how different do you think it will feel now leading MotoGP?
I don't know. At the moment I'm the leader just from 1 hour, I think. So.
I'll give it time to sink in, yeah.
Let's wait some races, but at the moment, what I was missing last year was confidence on myself and also constant, and I'm trying to have it. And we did an incredible job with my training this winter, and we trying to continue this way. But we have just done 4 races. We have 16 in front, so the street is so long to the same, and we will try to continue like this.
It's a great position to be in. Just before we let you go, you've just mentioned, Pecco, strong tracks coming up for Ducati, in particular Mugello and Barcelona. But next on the calendar, it's Le Mans. What are your thoughts about how you and the Ducati will work in France in a couple of weeks' time?
Last year I was strong. I was starting 7th, and I was just struggling the first day because it was too cold, but then I was strong. And we had the lucky to have wet conditions for the race. Let's wait this season if will be wet. I hope to have dry, but in any case, we will arrive there prepared.
Well, it's 3 podiums in the first 4 races. A fantastic start to 2021 for you, Pecco, and congratulations on being the new World Championship leader. We look forward to seeing you in France again in 2 weeks' time.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, thanks very much, Matt. Thanks to Pecco Bagnaia as well, the new World Championship leader. Looks like Ducati got themselves a couple of prize fighters.
Yeah, you did right. Fantastic riders. So evenly matched today, speed-wise. Pecco is, to me, like Joan Mir. I know they're completely different, but they are solid as a rock. They're there every week, and you know, I don't have to say championship threat because he's already leading the championship, but he so deserves it, you know. But he is so good, so special, that it's why I think Jack's win today was so extra special. To beat someone like him on the same bike here was a job and a half. Yeah, both Pecco and Jack, what a job. He's right, pointing out those next tracks coming up for Ducati. Le Mans is a very stop-start, which does play into the hands of Ducati. So.
OK, well, we'll have to wait and see how that goes. Before we leave after the flag, a couple of mentions elsewhere. Aleix Espargaro, 6th. Not quite the podium, but hey, matching a top result again. They're up there once more.
Yeah, and he had a lot of good riders behind him. You know, yeah, impressive job. I think they're going to be happy with that. They were aiming top 5. They got 6th. It was a great ride. I think probably Taka Nakagami was the unexpected one to beat them, but
there's reason to believe that Maverick Vinales and Johan Zarco will just want to try and forget Jerez and head into Le Mans. Marc Marquez, 9th place. He'll take that.
After this weekend,
yeah,
it's been like I said, very tough one for Honda, and just to go away from here with no injuries and a finish, I think he's going to be happy to leave.
3 fallers early on in the race as well. Alex Marquez, well, we've already mentioned the 2021 Honda at the moment, and Alex is struggling. Hopefully he can bounce back again in France.
He's a great rider. I'm sure he will this season. We'll see him again.
Brad Binder and Alex Rins. Two big disappointments today because they both had decent rhythm and pace.
Dead right. I knew there'd be some crashes today, and they were 2 of the big hitters that we lost.
Hey, I reckon we should wrap this up, Simon, because I can see the top three are getting ready and they're waiting for me to go on to the press conference. Simon, thanks as ever.
Welcome.
For all your help this weekend. Well, that concludes after the flag. Yamaha's run is over at the start of 2021. It's a 1-2 for Ducati. We'll see you next time in Le Mans.